NLP processing, where you do like language modeling and text classification. Um,
Uh,
so the idea is just I'm gonna go through like a lot of topics, discuss it with you, and see
yeah,
if you can help me out with anything like related to your work. But first of all, can you just give me a little bit like a brief about what kind of chatbot did you work on, and what kind of things helped you in the like what kind of like chatbot applications did you work on? What kind of framework?
yeah, sure. We've worked with several chatbots for the past 3 years. So that includes Azure chatbot, Dialogflow chatbot, Amazon Lex chatbot. So we use a lot of different kinds of frameworks for our chatbot. We also built from scratch using PHP, using Node.js, or even Python. So we work across different platforms. And then our clients want the end channel to be WhatsApp. That's possible. WeChat, Line, Messenger, that's Telegram. We do all of that. We can also do an SMS chatbot. So it's just like a text chatbot when you just text it and it'll automatically reply. And then we work with various industries ranging from banks and insurance, e-commerce, health. So we kind of dabble in a lot of different industries. So we know a few about what kinds of chatbots earlier, and then their use cases. Yeah. So yeah, that's about us.
Okay, just by the way, like I'm my like my all my degrees are in computer science, so feel free to go deeper, like technical. And that's what I'm really interested about. So, what kind of chatbots did you build? Did you build just a customer support where you handle like the tickets, or you build like a chatbot where you handling an orders and connecting with like dynamic APIs, etc.
Yeah, so we use a lot of REST APIs to connect our NLP and chatbots. And then because it's NLP powered, we have to program intents and then program that into JSON files and parse that into our Postman tool. So this chatbot is mostly used for customer support, for question Q&A support, but we also do functional chatbots. So functional chatbots includes like for banks, if you ask for a bank account status or like bank transfer or bank transaction, or if you want to wire money, you can use the chatbot. If you want to sign up for an insurance account, for example, that's another chatbot. You can do so with our chatbot. So the design flow is
Like booking and etc. This is called like a functional chatbots. I like that.
functional chat.
And
Yeah.
the other ones we call like a customer support chatbot, or it has another meaning. It has another
Yeah,
label.
customer Q&A. We call them Q&A chatbots, but you can call them
Q&A. Yeah. Okay.
customers automated customer support, customer robot. So there's different names to it.
And do you usually get like so okay, so that's answered my question. So I'm not planning to use the cloud platforms because they are rigid, and I because okay. So here's a little introduction. So I'm working with this client, and we are building. I'm building a chatbot like as a consultant for them.
Yeah.
But I have another colleague where we are planning to start our own like build our own framework where we actually provide like a much unified framework for all our customers. My colleague or my partner, he's a programmer. He's not like into machine learning or anything. So I'm trying to automate all the NLP steps. okay, for him. So he can actually take the data, take the requirement, run those processes, and get some data, get some result out of it, and then experiment with it. So that's why I'm trying to learn. Okay, what's the best way to start, and what's the best way to like how to go through all the steps, and so since we started, yeah, I'm glad you recorded this, so I don't have to keep the time. Uh, I wanna get the answer for all the steps, so I can get an idea. Okay, if I wanna do this and help build like an automated framework, we can actually speed up the process. So
Yeah.
after a lot of research, I realized okay, I can use like a bot press and Raza, both of them. But I'm open to suggestion. Like, did you implement your own framework, or you after like going through the cloud and going through like open source, you end up with something really like good, like it has a good business foundation and like it's easier to implement.
We yeah, so we worked with BotPress. The problem with BotPress is it has few documentations, and then it comes with different versions. So I think every year they'll release a new version. That means the support for your older version will uh, be deprecated. That means
Okay.
you have to kind of relearn what the new versions are, and then sometimes if you're working with older versions, it cannot migrate. It can't migrate to the new version, so you have to start over again. So that's a problem with BotPress. And then BotPress is also on the cloud, so that's something you need to be aware of. If you want to,
But sorry, Podpress on the cloud? Uh,
it's to my knowledge, I was working with BotPress version 1. It's stored. It has like it like you can set it the endpoint to the cloud, like an Azure cloud or AWS. So it works for the cloud, and it's designed to work with the cloud. So it's not really like good for high security companies or industries, because for
okay,
banks it's high security. They don't want to have their information on the cloud. So BotPress isn't really the good choice in that
okay,
sense. But BotPress is good to because they have a visualization backend. So like just like Node, you can connect different endpoints with different.
okay.
Um, um,
Have you used Raza?
Raza is better. Raza is
Okay,
definitely better. It has more community and it's more international. So Raza, I would recommend. Um,
okay.
and for others, like Wit.ai is also something I know is pretty good. It's been out there for about 5 years. So Wit.ai is the oldest bot framework. It's the
Uh,
oldest.
it's called
Wit.ai.
dot AI.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then
And
there's a lot of new ones coming up, but they're not too famous yet. They're
is
not
it
too
like
popular.
open source or like a cloud
Wit.ai
version?
is open. To my knowledge, it's open sourced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Raza. Raza is more like it's really good. Raza, like there is a big community. I saw a lot of like NLP researcher joining and talking about it. The only like my concern about Raza is just is if you are not into like coding, it's it's not easy to like integrate it. So you have to do a lot of coding, a lot of like writing code. For me, it's not a problem, but I'm trying to automate the process for my colleague as much as he could, so he doesn't have to dig deeper into like the Python libraries and what's work and what doesn't. Okay,
So, so what about Microsoft Bot Framework? Azure is getting more popular. It's got a
Microsoft
pretty
bot.
good
Okay, okay.
bot framework. It has a really good IDE, and the STK is pretty good. And they have 24/7 technical support. So if you have any questions, you just have to pay a monthly fee for the technical support, like
Okay.
54 USD US dollars every month to get unlimited technical support for the Microsoft.
And it's a cloud, right?
It's on the cloud. Yes, Azure is a cloud-based
Okay.
system.
Okay.
But I mean, if you can manage to encrypt your data and then connect it to your local server, then it's better for your clients.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just trying to see like if the client required like to be hosted locally, Microsoft won't be a choice, right?
Microsoft can process the NLP in the cloud, but the data will be stored and parsed through the local server. So uh, Microsoft bot framework can be can only like serve to process the NLP extractions, and
Okay.
that's that's the only step. It will receive the data, and the rest will go to the local server. The rest of the
Okay.
processes will go to the local
Okay.
server.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. I
But
see.
if you're looking
Okay.
for 100% security, 100% security, then you need to find an open source solution like with.ai or something. So that's something that's more time consuming, but
Yeah,
the
it's
security.
yeah. Honestly, it's just me and my friend right now, and so I'm trying to speed up the process. So I'm not trying to implement everything by myself, but I'm just trying to explore the option. Actually, I did a lot of research. I've never like run into .ai. Maybe I have to do like a dig deeper, but something to look at it. And also I will try to look into the cloud. So for the cloud, so now we get to the second point. Like, okay, so it's always the same thing. You have the entity, you have the intent, and then you have the stories. Okay. So
Mhm.
my question is that what's your typical client? Like, do they dump the data onto you? Do they have like a clear stories? I had to work with my client a lot. They dump the data to me, like just a plain data, and I have to go through it by myself and try to see, okay, what first, like, what kind of stories are there, what kind of entities are there, and like it's a lot of like manual work. Like I had to go through it, and I'm trying to automate the process. Um, there are there are a lot of issues with automating the process, especially like if you're working on with non-English text data. So what's your like typical approach? Like what's your best practice? Something like to save the time.
So it depends on your customer's client data, right? Usually they'll send you a raw data format, and then you might have to use like VBA to auto sort it in an Excel sheet or a SQL. So just run a Python script, and then you auto arrange it, reformat it into like a JSON friendly database, and feed that, upload that into your NLP uh, system or framework. And then once it's uploaded, it'll automatically capture the intent and entities in the story. And that way, every process of the way is automated. So you don't have to do any manual work. But that being said, it depends on your client's raw data, right? I don't know,
Yeah,
like some clients provide you with a script, like question and answer, question and answer. They'll fill this out in an Excel file, or sometimes customers just give you an essay, like 1,000 word paragraph, or something that is hard to read, and you have to
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of
That's what I'm
type.
talking about. The
Yeah.
data, like they don't give me like okay, here's the question, here's the story. Like this is what we need. This is the intent. No, this is the for each like story. This is what we care about. No, they tell me okay, here's the data for the last 3 4 months. Can you automate this? Can you build a bot? So I have to go through it and extract every entity and then do it like iteratively and repeatedly until I reach like a coherent like data coherent. And that's my issue with the raw data. A lot of my client like this client, and I talked with a lot of like potential client, and they have this issue. They have the raw data and it's just me and my friend, and I need like a best way to extract those knowledge.
Yeah, so I think um, if they're giving you really unformatted raw data, then I would think, is the raw data consistent? Like every month, they give you a consistent raw data, or is it like every month the word count is different, and then the entities are all over the place, they're not in a consistent place?
Yeah. I mean, the, the answers are different. Intent sometimes are different. I don't know if they don't understand intent. So they tell me, okay, here's the chat. So sometimes I go through it, I realize, okay, there are multiple intents in the same chat. Sometimes I realize there's one intent. Sometimes I don't know what's the entities I have to extract in one chat.
Yeah,
And sometimes I get some different answers from different accounts, especially
yeah,
the. So I have all those things, and this is actually the data cleaning, the data extraction. I have to go through it, and I am trying to automate it as much as possible, at least to give to get. So my question is that, okay, what's the best practice to get raw data where the client does not have a big knowledge about all the different hierarchy, the different branches of the conversation, and get some rough representation, not like a clear representation, but just rough representation, so I can make a demo and then go through them and have a good story.
yeah. I mean, that's a big issue. You either teach your clients, oh, this is the intent, this is the entity, and ask them to fill out a questionnaire or an Excel template to help identify which are the entities and intents. But if your clients are lazy or are busy, then I would think the best practice would be using raw data, do some ETL, machine learning ETL. Um, that requires some sort of machine learning script you have to run through. Usually that is like you have to use Python, PyTorch, Google Colab, and some of the existing open source tech framework or tools
Okay.
on OpenAI.com. So
Okay.
you can write
Have
a
it.
process to automate the ETL, but each case is different. So you have to
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
customize your model. But
Okay.
there's
Have
open
you
source.
ever used worked on entity extraction model?
Yeah. Go to openai.com. There's a lot of entity extraction models on
Okay.
openai.com. It's an open source platform. I'll share you the link, URL link, so you
Yeah,
can take a.
I know Open AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. But
And then,
do they support like other languages besides English or?
are you talking about Arabic?
Yes, Arabic.
Um, might have to do some research on this. I
No,
can
don't
help
worry
you out
about
with.
it. Like if you have you ever worked with clients with like non-English data?
Yeah, we work with some Emirates clients. I
Okay.
actually was in Dubai last year for the AI for everything exhibition. So there's quite a few companies who are doing open sourced NLP for the Arabic language. So
Okay.
I can send you some information about that. Uh,
Okay.
they're based in
Yes.
Middle East. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of companies are doing that. But the easiest ways I can tell you right now is to convert your client's data into a CSV file and upload it onto Lewis.ai. Do you know Lewis.ai? It's a Microsoft's
No,
own
no.
NLP framework. So you just convert your raw data into CSV file, upload it
Okay.
onto Lewis.ai, and it'll automatically detect which are the entities, which are the intents.
Oh, nice, nice.
It's
That's very
very
good.
inaccurate. It's
The,
not accurate.
the whole conversation is about this step. I need a tool where it at least give me a rough idea. So yeah, can you share the link later, Lewis AI?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
Accuracy rates for English is about 76% to automatically identify. I don't know about the Arabic language. Maybe the accuracy rate is lower, but they do support
Yeah,
Arabic.
yeah. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I mean, with the Arabic, we don't have a lot of data outside. So, like building the data, make sure it's we have a good data. It's kind of like one of the things I'm planning to do. So to have a like a good like a edge on this like market here in Saudi Arabia. But so I'm not interested. So at least if it gives me like 60%, 55%, I'm okay with that. Just
Yep.
show me something I can start with, you know.
Yep.
Uh, okay, so so that's cover the auto generation, the non-English content. Yes. Also, okay. Let's say it give me the intent. It give me the entities. What's the next step to say? Okay, those are the same stories. Those are different story. Because I've seen, like, I went through some books and I read it like some entities has like multiple entities. Sorry, some intent has like multiple intents, and some of them will have like one intent with multiple like uh, like let's say multiple entities inside intent. So some people will say like, oh, you have to separate each intent with a different classes, and some of them say no, you have to combine like multiple intent into one intent with multiple entities. So what's your approach with this?
Yeah,
Because
usually I go with multiple intents for one entity
okay.
because intent like it includes utterances, it includes keywords, and these are kind of the first step in identifying the meaning or the purpose of the client's or user's responses. And the entity is a group. It groups multiple entities into one group. So I would say multiple intents for one entity, and that entity can be linked to an action, a story, or a response.
Okay.
You
Okay.
kind of get
Uh,
what I mean?
uh,
Yeah.
okay. And for the API, so after that, for the API, what's your approach? Like if the system will require like dynamic query to an API or something, what's your approach for this? Like how do you tackle this phase?
It's this phase is relatively straightforward, relatively easy because you just connect to the endpoint and then have you trigger the API to do what it's supposed to do. So, for example, if the user wants to buy, let's say, buy Nike shoes, the utterances is buy Nike shoes, right? And then
Mhm,
the intent is Nike and buy, and then the entity is buy, right? Once
mhm.
it hits the entity buy, it'll trigger the Stripe API to make the purchase window pop up. So that will be the final phase, which is to trigger the webhook API to open the window so the user can make payment.
Okay.
For example, yeah. So it's pretty straightforward. That's my approach. Like once you can get it to connect, and then you can have like a debugging in your backend, like debugging script to see if there's any issues, live debugging script, um, or a screen to show if there's any problems with your API. Then that'll be great. Just to see
Uh,
if there's any errors or any problems. Yeah.
Yeah, you good, good. You're jumping the steps because my next step is okay, after doing all this, after having a rough idea, rough stories, having like some API connection, how can I build a good test suite? Like, uh, does the framework do that for you? They test all the stories, all the branches, and then give you like some conversions, like ratio, or I have to hard code all the those stories tests.
Usually the big frameworks you use like BotPress, Reza, Microsoft Bot Framework, all these big frameworks, they provide error logs. So if you have an error, it'll be automatically logged uh, into their system, so you can go and check and see. But the problem is you have to manually check and see. So
Yeah, yeah.
once
So Raza doesn't have a test suite like testing all the source, right?
so you have to program like I
Okay,
think you have to like set up an alert system. Yeah.
okay,
If there is an error in the log, then alert, call your phone or
okay.
email you. Yeah.
Yeah, this is okay. So this is no. I'm just talking about the development phase. Just during the development, I'm trying to
Okay.
test all the cases during the development, see the stories. Okay, if the like having another agent communicate with this agent and make sure like all the stories are integrated. So that's my thing. And so there is no like so how about the Microsoft SDK, like Microsoft Cloud? Do they have like a test suite? Have you ever used them?
Yeah, I've used them. They're pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. Error
It's
logs, they log.
it seems you are comfortable mostly with Microsoft. Like, what do you like about this? Like
Microsoft,
the
yeah, it's not cheap. Like, they have three different plans. The free plan, which is very limited, 100 users per month, and then the medium, I always choose the premium one because it has 24/7 support, but you have to pay like 24.99 USD per month. But you get 24/7 technical support, and then they're very fast and responsive. So you can actually ask and they'll help you debug what's the issue. So their SDK is really good. Yeah.
okay.
And the banks and insurance companies, they all, if they have to choose a cloud software, they always choose Azure. Yeah, my based on my experience.
Okay. 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 And have you ever had clients where they ask for like, oh, we wanna like a web interface where we actually uh, introduce new stories, modify them, or usually you work with client, okay, take the requirements, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna build your product. If you wanna change the stories, you have we have to develop it too again. I'm
Yeah.
trying, yeah,
Um.
I'm trying to get the sense of because the like as I said, like PodPress. The good thing about PodPress is it gives you like a web interface where you can actually introduce new data, manipulate it. So if we program like a web interface for a client using PodPress, if we want to use them, it's different than Raza where there is no like a good web interface for the client. So we have to change the way we approach the problem.
Yeah. So, what's a good web interface? Or it depends on client's budget, right? So there's BotPress, which is, I think, is very relatively affordable. It has good web interface, but it's more developer friendly. If I am a non-developer, I might get lost. It's harder for me to edit and make changes. If I am a non-developer, I would prefer something like Chatfuel or ManyChat. That's a lot cleaner and easy to use. So BotPress is more with developer, but I agree. If you know how to use BotPress, then it has pretty good web interface with all the node and
Okay.
lines and dots connecting to it. So it's good. It's good for developers. It's like WordPress but for chatbot. Yeah.
Okay. So my almost last question. The production. Okay. Let's say we develop it, we work on it, we integrate it with the API. Now we come to the production phase. Uh, from my experience, if we use a cloud, they have a deployment to like a strategy where you don't have to worry about the deployment, right? The production. But if we use like Rasa, we have to integrate it online. So have you ever used Rasa for like deployment and production? And what's your strategy if you do that? Like to make sure like it scales, it has like a high availability.
Yeah, Raza, we did it for many POCs, and some of our Raza chatbots got like a couple of thousand users after deployment, and yeah, it was good. Any strategies to it? I would say like just check if your version is correct, is up to date, and if there's any deprecated issues with your current version. Overall, Rasa is pretty stable when it comes to scalability. Press is also pretty good. Azure is pretty good. But if you scale to a certain point, Azure starts to charge you more. So you gotta be careful of the monthly fees
With
with
the pod
Azure,
press?
with Microsoft Press.
Ah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, Microsoft, yes, yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the cloud is different. So you used Microsoft for the, yeah, I mean, one of the thing I don't like the cloud because I like to control mostly everything. I don't want to build from scratch, but I like to have the control, so I understand the steps. But the thing is about the cloud, it will help me like scale, so I don't have to worry about it, the scalability. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I will look into Microsoft. I've never worked on the Microsoft
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
part.
Yeah. Look into that. Yeah.
So, what else? What else do you suggest? Like,
Do you have a design doc? Do you have like a design flow for the client? If you have a diagram or a design flow or design doc or a mock frame, you can send it to me and I'll give you some suggestions,
okay,
like
okay.
a process flow. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. With my client, it's just as you said, it's a QA chatbot, okay? But
Okay.
I want to take it to the next level where I do a functional chatbot. But with functional chatbot, I want to build the framework where it's kind of like easier to integrate it with a system. So let's say you have a system and you have a database and you have everything. We just take your data, integrate it with our system with small changes, and then we have a good like rough stories, and then we do it back and forth, and then we end up with a good like a functional chatbots. That's the thing. So with my client right now, I have just a QA, and I went through a lot of that's why, like in a PodPress, you can see the visualization. With Rasa, I have to like generate the graph from the code.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Press, I know the co-founder of Press. So if
oh,
you
okay.
want,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I went through the PodPress. Right now, I'm only interested in the free license, like just the free. But they have a premium license. I saw that, and it seems like the premium can scale and etc. They provide other, but I'm not gonna go there until I know okay what's the limit and how to use PodPress. I was reading a lot about the PodPress and Rasa, and I saw like one approach where you integrate both of them. So the NLP and the NLU will be using Rasa, but the clients, how to handle the connection and everything else will be through the PodPress. Have you ever integrated both of them like together?
um, no, no, because Press has its own NLU, but it's not perfect. So
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
want,
yeah.
I just pick one. Yeah, I don't combine two of them. Yeah, it's riskier, you know.
Yeah, yeah, I know, I know. That's why I saw it. Like I saw some people integrate both of them, and they run into issues, and I don't want to go into that. But I thought if it's a common approach, why not try? Okay,
Yeah,
and
I personally
what?
do it.
You wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't
Okay,
do it.
okay, and okay. So for the functional chatbots, what's your approach? Like what's your recommendation for me? Like if I want to get into the functional chatbots for non-English, let's say non-English data.
Depends. Like functional chatbots can have different
Uh,
functions.
okay, I will give you an example. I have a potential client now. They have an online auction. Okay, so they have the database where it's filled with bids, products, and they want me to build like a functional chatbot where you ask about like a type of cars, and they list you all those data, and then you ask about the color. So you see, like I have to dig deeper into uh, extracting all those entities from the database and then generating the stories for them. And then make sure okay, what's the current action available? Oh, action is not just buy, it's bid. And so these
Uh,
kind of functional chatbot is different. So I'm trying to like mentally visualize all those variables inside my head. So what's your approach? Like, what's different functional chatbot? You said you work on banks. Banks will have like a different functional chatbot where you do transaction, you do wiring, you do. So what's kind of like the format you ask the client to provide, the framework you work on them? That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around. I'm trying to brainstorm, by the way, just to let you know.
yeah, yeah. So it definitely depends. Like auction is like I think it's the chatbot has to be processed very fast. So the server needs to be good, and the I think the backend NLP needs to run really fast, and the processing power. You need to have a stable server, that's for sure. And for the auction, you might have different entities like for the numbers, for the the text. So the database for NLP needs to be very rock solid. It needs to be really good, the database, and then the NLP part, AI training part needs to be well trained. And I think, yeah, I mean that's about it. Unless you have other APIs to integrate, then you would research how to integrate these APIs into your chatbots.
Okay.
Um,
And
my
let's say you have a yeah, sure. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, my if like because functional chatbots vary so much. Like you can have a simple functional chatbot that just checks your bank account to a very high level NLP AI powered chatbot that does maybe like open slides in your house or it does multiple stock options trading, right? So the complexity, the function varies so much. And then I think my overall recommendation is if it's too complicated, use a web view in your chatbot. So actually, an application inside an application. If the chatbot cannot provide this function, you just like throw a web application into the chatbot. You understand? Like if let's say
No,
if
no, sorry. What do you mean web application?
like the chatbot is a chat box, right? People
Yeah.
type their information text into the chat box. But if it's too complicated, let's say if you want to do stock trading, you want to buy and sell stocks, and the chatbot cannot do that because it's too complicated or some technical issue, it will open up inside the chat box, it'll open up a web view. So this is a web application instead of a chatbot application. So they do their functional services inside the chatbot, which inside the web. view,
Okay,
which
I
is
see, I
inside.
see, I see, I see, I see,
Yeah,
I see. So it will open the web application and they will do their transaction and that's it.
yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
if all else fails, if it's too complicated, if you cannot deploy, then you just use the web view and just make a
Okay.
web application. Yeah.
Okay. And let's say you are dealing with clients, they don't know what they're doing. Okay, so you come to a client, let's say the auction, and they tell you, okay, what do you need from us? Uh, what should I ask? Like,
You have to have a template. I usually send a template and
okay,
a
perfect.
sample design diagram or design flow. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So the
Uh,
template will ask for their information. They have to fill out all the intents into these responses and whatnot. Yeah. Usually I just
uh,
send
okay.
template.
Would you mind sharing the template or like do
Yeah,
you
I can
have
send
a?
it.
Yeah,
I
yeah. I
got
mean that will help me a lot. Because they asked me about okay, what do I need, and pretty much I have no idea what should I ask from them. Okay, okay, that sounds good. Okay, what else do you have for me? What suggestion, like some recommendation do you have for me?
yeah. Each each chatbot is different. So there's a lot of customization that goes to each chatbot. So if you have any information about the chatbot you want to develop, just send all the information to me over Upwork. I'll take a look and I'll give you recommendations. Yeah,
Okay, okay, good, good, good.
it's better, more efficient that way.
Okay, sounds good, sounds good. Okay. Thank you, Wilson. Thank you very much for your
Thank you,
time. I
sir.
really appreciate
Yeah,
it. That was a very because like I'm coming from like more like a researcher area to like more like a practical industrial area. So
oh,
more yeah, I've done a lot of like playing and learning and actually design and implementing all those like language models. But I'm going getting into like industrial area where I meet like non-technical people and I have to deal with that. I have to work with them. So that's why I needed someone who worked with industry for a bit about like building a chatbot.
yeah.
So I will try, like I will start working on those, and I will if I would need another consultation, I would need some help. I would for sure like get back to you about this. So thank you very much, and just
Thanks,
share me the yeah share me the
yeah.
links, share me the like the survey or like that you used to share, and that's it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, have a good day. Thank you so
You
much,
too. It
Andrew.
was nice talking to you. Bye bye.